What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we're at Sergeant Tank's house, aka Jeremy, a good buddy of mine. We're down here speaking in Michigan. This is the Grand Rapids area, so super excited. We're actually talking, well, I'm talking in like an hour. Getting a little nervous, but before the talk, I want to do a fish room tour. The next room. Now this is the room that has tons of tanks.
Yes, this is where predominantly most of the action happens.
I mean, look at this everywhere. What are these, 150 gallon ponds?
These are 100 gallons.
We got turtles?
These are for, yes, we do have some red-eared sliders. I also have some African cichlids, which do fine. I'm not going to be an advocate saying you should be putting fish with turtles, but they do fine together. So I got a little bit of chromis in there. I got a bumblebee.
Oh, I love it. I
did have an ACI, which is in quarantine, that got beat up by the bumblebee.
What is it now?
The yellowtail ACI over here got beat up by the bumblebee, so it's going through quarantine.
Poor guy.
Hence the yellowtail, really not much left of it.
Yeah.
He is doing good. I'm confident that he'll pull out just fine.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
More cherries in here. There's a whole pond, or not cherries, carbons.
Yeah, there is, let me grab my light here. A lot of the ones that we'll take a look at here in the 29 gallon, I pull from the 300 gallon stock tank outdoors. So a lot of the fish, what I do.
You got tanks outdoors too?
Not anymore. They're all shut down.
I was about to say.
Yeah. So there's a little ancistrus, bristlenose pleco down there, various carbon release. But this is pretty much for extra grow out, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of an extra if I need it.
Jeez.
And then 10's all up.
So is this pretty much your full-time job, just taking care of all these tanks?
Believe it or not, it's pretty, once you get to a point, I've been now breeding close to 14 years consistently, and I haven't gotten out of the hobby. Originally got into the hobby back in 1990. Of course, I did take a hiatus there through high school, but once I got married, once we got the house, then I could start getting back into it. Of course, you know, we all know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, we're looking at it right here.
This is more therapeutic to me. This is a
Absolutely.
lifesaver for me, and I enjoy the aspects because it's like my Zen place.
Well, how about this? How about you take a minute or two and just give people a little bit of background of, like,
sure.
how, because I know fish tanks have played a huge part in your life.
Absolutely.
And really pulling you out of some bad places. So if you could just share a little bit.
Yeah, so we did a live stream on your channel a while back, so I mean, I would encourage them to check that out if they want to. Without going into all the details, I was a victim from an individual that was under the influence back in 2011. I've gone through multiple surgeries. I have complex regional pain syndrome, which is a permanent neuropathic condition. I've been through multiple specialists. Unfortunately, I've been through every realm of invasive, non-invasive, but from a mental standpoint, what got me into breeding is the importance of seeing how the effectiveness is helping me from an emotional standpoint to get me through each day. And this is my ultimate support mechanism, and I enjoy sharing the passion with other people because I know how much it's helping me.
Yeah.
That's probably in the most simplest form that I can put it. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very therapeutic for me. And people would think that I literally spend hours down here. I may spend an hour and a half every day. That's it.
Taking care of it.
Yeah, I don't have to spend that, and that's at my own leisure.
Yeah.
Because we got 4 kids. 3 of the older ones are in school. My youngest is with me. So.
And that's your buddy.
He is my buddy. He keeps me going. Yeah, and he will be a fish keeper.
He will be?
He will be.
Hey, we'll see. 10 years from now, we'll do the video.
He's gonna have to watch this video.
We'll do the video. I love it.
So out of all the kids, yeah, I can see him being the fish keeper.
Well, that's awesome. It's good to have that.
So we got some N-class Endlers here.
And these are some of your favorite.
These are, I have not provided these to anybody. I acquired these from Pamela Earlywine, or 54 Punchy. She sent me these back last year, I don't remember exactly when, and they're one of my favorites. So I'm thinking they could be a Adrian Hernandez line. I would have to ask Adrian, but I think he's got some really nice lineage. I mean, he's very, very popular, especially with these type of Endlers, various Endlers. And my suspicion would be, without having documentation, from the research that I can see, I would classify them as a red chest. But I don't know. She doesn't know for sure.
So for a person that knows nothing about Endlers, is that I'm guessing that Adrian, is that his name? Adrian?
Adrian HD, you can find him. Ton of information if you Google him.
So he's like a big time breeder.
Hernandez. Oh yeah.
And so you're thinking that's a line that originated from him?
I would suspect.
That's pretty cool.
Suspicious.
Is that's probably.
I'm gonna have to. I got him on Facebook. Friends with him on Facebook, so I'll have to maybe just send a picture. Because if you look at the females here and the males are quite a bit bigger than your standard Pocelia wing-eye. I mean, the females
they're
are almost twice the size. I mean, some of my more mature females, fortunately, spine issue there, but that was more trauma. That's not a genetic issue.
Yeah.
So I didn't call that one, and she still does produce.
That's
and she's
awesome.
still happy and healthy, so that's why I have it organized. Still eating.
So Endlers are your babies.
I love Endlers. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
Tornageous grass. So out of this huge room,
Yeah.
what's something that is like you come down here and like it excites you?
Gosh, these are my favorite. So these are your Synodontis lucipennis, and we looked at the multipentatus in the other room.
Yeah.
But and I got a Paracadensis in here too. But so I've bred a lot of these guys. So probably my favorite thing right now that I just enjoy breeding is probably these guys. I enjoy breeding a lot.
And it's really interesting how you breed them. I've never seen anyone breed them like that. Like I've seen like something close to that, but you put a net up there, so they kind of like swim around in the netting.
Yeah.
And or the mop and just drop
the marble
eggs.
method is nothing new, but I have found I tested different methods. This is just what works for me, and I always tell people, hey, if it works for you, then do it. So what they do is the embryos don't have a very what do you want to say, like a really good adhesive bond, like you would see in rainbow fish and some killifish and that type of stuff, where the egg would be deposited in the mop.
Yeah.
So what happens is they'll go in there, they'll spawn, and then of course the eggs will drop down in either marbles, or here I'm just using a smooth stone. And a lot of the stuff you can acquire from dollar stores, so keep it cheap. Then what I do is I'll pull out that once I go ahead and trigger their spawning.
How do you do that?
All right, so the tip that I recommend is about 72 hours before a storm front moves in. I'll do about a 20% water change. I'll hit them with RO, or true reverse osmosis deionized water.
Yeah.
And then I'll go ahead and trigger them with that. You want to start conditioning them through foods. And then from that,
so like Daphnia and things like that?
Yeah, they do enjoy that. But even a lot of pelleted foods. So
okay.
Yeah, there's various foods. I mean, really, without mentioning all the foods that I incorporate. But yeah, I mean, they do enjoy Daphnia. You can use brine, white worms, microworms. So you want to balance.
Gotcha.
And then what happens is, if you can do it right, and if you find them in the right time, about every 3 weeks I find, about 72 hours before, the next morning about 10, 11 o'clock, I'll come down here, I'll grab that
tray
clear,
out of the bottom?
that clear little bowl with all the stones in it. I'll pull it out, use the aquarium water, I'll have a little like shoebox container sitting here, I'll remove it, carefully dump it in. You do that a few times, carefully dump it, and then that's how you obtain the eggs. And then once the embryos hatch out, I mean, it takes about maybe a day and a half, 2 days. They don't take very long.
So they're pretty quick.
Yeah. So.
And then from there you just raise them up?
Yeah, that can be a bit more...
a little more complicated than how I made it
People
sound?
always ask me, because they know I breed so much stuff. Okay, you can get a lot of things to spawn. The main thing is trying to raise them up successfully.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And we'll look at some fries, some offspring that I have. I'm actually bringing in a group to BAP tonight, or the Breeders' Award program. So I'll be bringing in a group to the local club here this evening when we go. But yeah, they're one of my favorites. I mean, I really, really enjoy them because they are challenging to raise up. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yep. These are the filament barbs here. These guys are actually from August 7th. And that group that you looked at in that 40 breeder there, the reverse trio, these are actually the offspring.
It's funny that
So you can
they
see,
have stripes, but when they
correct,
grow up, they
will lose
don't.
that banding. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because right now, like if they just stayed that size and looked like that, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're a neat fish. I love barbs. Here's one on Lucipennis.
Really cool.
You see a little one up there. It's about
Oh
an
yeah,
inch.
there's a tiny one.
They tend to be a little bit more slower growers, but like I said, don't stress yourself out. You might end up getting, let's say, 100 or 75, and if you end up with 20 of them successfully, pat yourself on the back.
You did pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. You want to rule out the weak genetics.
Absolutely.
So we got various shrimp in there.
Oh, there's a
I know
nice-
you know a thing
nice one.
or two about shrimp.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Couple things.
Depending on who you talk to.
So it is a little bit cloudy. I'm treating that tank for planaria.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, planaria is fine in the ecosystem, like with fish, but of course, as you know, either that or hydra. I don't like it particularly in the shrimp tank, even though they can. But they will go after even some small fries. So
Oh, absolutely.
I just use fenbendazole.
It's the easiest way to do it.
Fenbendazole to get rid
Do
of
you
it.
really?
Oh yeah, and I'll eradicate them within half a week. And I don't even have to even do a water change.
That's crazy.
Those are
Listen,
black
we're
rose.
literally not even scratching the surface
Nah.
of the amount of tanks that you have.
Sorry about yeah, you're gonna get some of that ambient sound.
Yeah, if you
in the
can't hear,
background.
it's Jeremy's fault.
Yeah,
His
blame it on
thing.
me, I know. That's why I don't do a lot of updates in my channel.
Like, there's everything. There's fries. So, like, I mean, Jeremy, you're really breeding a lot of stuff. Crazy. I actually really like how the light comes from the bottom. I think that's
I do
pretty
need to
cool.
block that out. I just incorporated the light. Here, these actually flip off.
Oh, nice.
So it just kind of, I mean, it's something more rustic looking, more industrial look. It's nothing special. It's very cost effective, very
Yeah.
cheap to do. It doesn't take long to do it. And I do want to block that out because I know
Do
it
you?
is stressing them out. But I just haven't got around
Hey,
to it.
can we look in here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, and you even got storage up in there.
Yeah, all the way down here. These will actually should stay in place as long as it's not bumped.
That's pretty nice.
So these are the ones I'll be bringing tonight. There's actually a couple shrimp I got to take out of there too. But those are Lucipennis.
Nice.
Got some assassin snails. I got a BAP. Those are pretty easy to spawn.
I love assassin snails. Do you use the spawning mobs for them?
No, just they breed right down this. I wouldn't
Really?
keep them with these guys because these guys will end up eating them. But
Yeah.
like in this tank, yeah, they'll sort of pull a lot of them. Because they'll burrow themselves, as you know, right down the
absolutely.
substrate, and that's how they breed.
Hey, my one buddy, he uses breeding spawning mobs
You can that too.
and just like gets a ton of them. It's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
These right here are a lot for killifish, rainbow fish. So the embryos I'll pull, and that's kind of a whole nother nerd now I could spend an hour talking about. But this concept is nothing new, especially in the killifish world.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
there's
of people
so many
use
killifish.
these trays, even raising up for the first couple of weeks. You can
Yeah.
raise them up, put a little bit of like guppy grass or something in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's crazy. What are these guys?
Those are the Heros fasciatus. So the male is right here with that. You can tell the male by the
Like marbling almost?
correct right on the head and the extended rays off from like the dorsal.
Yep.
And then the female you'll see right here doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So she's a little beat up.
Well,
And I have two different females. The other female that we seen a little bit ago in the 90 gallon out there, and one of the displays is actually the other female. So I alternate between the two.
oh, so that they can take a break.
Correct. Yep.
That's pretty cool. How'd you get these ponds down here? I feel like that'd be pretty tight to the doorway.
I had my kids bring it down. They're really light.
Did you?
Oh yeah, they do all the lifting for me. They do any of the physical aspects. So they help out a ton. So
Best thing about having kids, right?
it is. You got to put them work, man.
Yeah, once they get to
Good
that.
for them.
What would you say? Once they get to like that 8-year-old range, then you can start putting them to work.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was running my uncle's store at 11 years old.
Oh my gosh. What, did he own a pet store?
No. He owned a TV and appliance shop
That's pretty sweet
for
though.
about 45 years.
He probably got pretty good at sales.
Oh yeah, that's how I got into fixing stuff. I mean, yeah, I grew up around trade. So we got some offspring of some frontosa in here. So there's 12 of them in there.
Tiny.
Yep.
For frontosa.
They tend to be a little bit more slower growers. Eventually, I do want to get these guys on a continuous drip because I know I'll be able to grow them up a little bit faster.
Yeah, because then when you do the continuous drip, can you feed like a lot more, or
I'm not an advocate for power feeding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 situation. So
I gotcha. So the continuous drip, just the extra water quality will help them grow quicker.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's kind of like a mixed tank.
It is. We have some
With everything.
Xiphophorus maculatus in there, a couple of different strains, some super red and citrus bushy nose, plecos.
Nice. And you got a whole nother wing back here. Now this is tight back there. I went back there earlier and got stuck.
That's more for just quarantine and temporary.
And there's the window we poked through earlier.
It is.
And here's a glimpse into the other fish room. That's crazy. You got a lot of tanks, man.
This is a very old school fish room.
That's good though. I mean, obviously it's working if you're breathing so much stuff out of it. So what else did we miss that we think that we definitely should talk about?
I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't really anything too uncommon. I mean, there is some Limia and Goodeids back there in that rack, which we probably won't really be able to see, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I have some Limia perugiae. There's Xenotoca, Eisenai, which is a lot of those Goodeids are either near extinction or on the red list, like an endangered species. Fortunately, as we see often in the hobby with various species of fish. These were all pulled from the 300-gallon stock tank. So we got some giant Danios in here. We got another Goodeid there. Let's see here. The offspring I won't be able to confirm for a little bit yet.
Yeah, until they grow up a little bit more.
Exactly. I got some orange Indian hatchet fish in there. So kind of a little mix right now. And then once they grow out, then I'll go ahead and start dispersing them into their ecosystems.
So do you do the stock tank outside every year?
The big one, I usually do the big 300-gallon we just incorporated last year to see how it went. Because I did about 13 or 14 different species. Unfortunately, some of them I lost just because of the high temps. So again, it was a test. I won't do that again. I would not advise of it. Even a lot of the veteran aquarists, I mean, through our own club, guys have been in this since before I was probably even in diapers.
Yeah.
It's an aggressive thing to do, and I just wanted to test it. But I'm happy with I did get a lot of various offspring. This is only a portion of it.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Yeah, summer tubbing's fun. I've been meaning to do it for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if my tip would be is even if you don't want to spawn, let's say you're spawning indoors over the winter into the spring, is to take some of those offspring, put them out to a tub, and let nature take its course. Yeah. No, you don't even need any air in there. I mean, theoretically,
just let it go.
Yeah. And those black corridors were half that size, and they grew to that size over the summer.
Just being out in the tub.
Yeah, I didn't do any feeding.
That's crazy.
I'll take that back. I fed 3 times, very minimal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're feeding off from insect, larvae.
Mosquito larvae and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So down here is a mix. We got some longfin albinos down here, bushy nose plecos. These are your Australian rainbow fish. Those guys might even have some eggs on that mop we can look at in a minute. So I usually pull that a couple times a week. They'll spawn right there in that spawning mop. And then I like keeping these tanks dark. I find that they do better when it comes to it. Stresses them out, or it de-stresses them, I should say.
Yeah, because then they kind of just get left alone.
So these are your Neolamprologus lalupi. So those guys are still growing out. So they kind of fall into, even though they're not technically a shell dweller, they will theoretically spawn in shells, but as you can see, I got tons of unnatural. But the key thing to me is getting them to spawn. I don't care if it's PVC pipe or not, because it's actually easier to pull once they get to that point of maturity, I can
Yeah.
pull those PVC out. So a lot of different options for them.
Nice, and that
Group of
just
6 in there.
lets them feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
Plenty of places to hide. Awesome, Jeremy. Well, hey, thank you so much for the tour, man. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Definitely go check out Sergeant Tanks on YouTube. Jeremy is an awesome guy. He's been in the hobby for a long time. He's been down to my shop, what? At least 2 times.
3 times.
3 times?
3 times in 6
That's
months.
crazy. So Jeremy's been down to my place. Awesome guy. He's doing a lot of great stuff. So follow him on his channel, Sergeant Tanks,
I appreciate it.
to find out some more about him. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.